I've consistently had several at least $5,000 months, if not more. And yeah, I have talked and landed a $3,000 coaching thing.
You've been able to generate somewhere between 5 to 10K a month and have actually had multiple months where you did hit that $10,000 mark.
Yep, that's correct. One is I recently had a plumbing emergency, and it was like a pretty hefty bill. It was like close to $5,000. And normally, before the program, I would have been stressed and I would have been running around, and that level of money would have it would have wrecked a couple weeks of my time.
Cool. Hey, Kai, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Glad to hear it, man. So, what we're doing today is really just taking the time to talk about what your experience has been like in the program, some of the results you've been able to generate, and really just give people who are watching this insights as to whether or not this would be a good fit for them, something that they should be thinking about, and really just give them your honest thoughts and feedback of how things have gone. So, just so people have some context on you, give people, excuse me, a little bit of your background, what you do, what you've helped people with, and where you were at before we started working together.
So I am in the field of UX design, and for a while I was okay. The way I'd put it is that email about the content creator that's broke was me, essentially. So I was writing on Medium, I was writing a weekly article and all that sort of stuff, and my monthly income was like 500 bucks. But I was just like, how do I ramp this up? Because the whole thing that started this thing off is my job said, hey, no raises, no bonuses for the next 3 years. I was like, I got to make more money. So I tried a couple things. I tried writing 2 articles a week and having one freed and one paid on Substack. I tried assembling a course. I was basically like, I need to support my family and I got to make more money. And I've always followed your work, but again, it was that email that was like, hey, there's a content creator that's cranking out all this sort of stuff and he's probably broke. And yeah, that was me. That's why I got interested in your offering. And then a lot of what was incredibly helpful was just that realization of, hey, keep it simple. What does this person get out of this? So it's just this idea of, yeah, I am in the weeds a lot because I know this my field very well. I write a lot about it. I write specifically for them. But the problem is I had a whole bunch of free users that were really grateful that I couldn't convert into paid users or I couldn't monetize in any way. Yeah, based on what I encountered during the program, a lot of the focus about focusing in on the benefits and all that sort of stuff, that kind of helped me think about my target audience's point of view and then shifting my newsletter and doing all this sort of action to basically aim towards the people that can pay me. And basically during this time, there was a huge implosion of the job market in design. So what really helped was that thought of who has the money, who can pay, and why would they want to pay? And going back to that, I was able to land my first corporate clients working through the previous program, Writers League. And then since then, I've consistently had several at least $5,000 months, if not more. And yeah, I have talked and landed a $3,000 coaching thing.
So for the corporate client, they ended up paying you something around like $7,000 a month, right? Talk about what that insight, the type of insight that you gained from understanding that those same skills that could be sold for, let's say, $500 by simply changing who you sold it to and what they wanted to use it for could help you drive a lot more revenue.
So this has been like a continuing journey, but a lot of it has been realizing that my skill set, while it may help an individual designer, it's much more powerful when several designers get together and push this forward as a team. And being able to realize that, hey, it's better to help the team get the initiatives that or the metrics or the goals that they want also helped me shift towards supporting what the business wants and what a department wants or what a team wants rather than how do I cater to an individual and worry about all that sort of stuff. And because of that, one of the things that I discovered was they wanted my help to help them reach their metrics in their projects. And doing that as a group rather than individual piece by piece has been probably how I've been able to get so much more business and a lot higher asking points.
In the program, our sort of promised result is for you to be in that 5 to 10K a month income range. Now we're working on scaling things up, but just checking the numbers, that's been pretty consistent that you've been able to generate somewhere between 5 to 10K a month and have actually had multiple months where you did hit that $10,000 mark.
Yep, that's correct.
Cool. So what would you say is the biggest sort of like transformation you felt like you've experienced since working together?
Honestly, it's about keeping it simple. For me, I tend to overthink things and I tend to be like super hyper focused on this is the thing in my super tiny niche. But what has been really helpful is to use the skills that I have already, realize that, hey, these are skills that I know people need because people hire designers full time and all that sort of stuff. So it's about communicating the value in a way that kind of resonates with your audience. It's if I am targeting a team, it's less about, hey, get a promotion or whatever. It's more about, hey, I know you're struggling because of this particular pain point and I can help. So basically, it's understanding in simple terms and as simple as possible what is the pain point that they're willing to pay to resolve, and then just like offering that solution.
Love it. So I've talked to a lot of people with skills, they're creators, but they're mostly focused on they're trying to get some paid Substack subscribers, or they're doing the royalties, they're trying to create digital low ticket ebooks and things of that nature. Talk about the difference between both of the business models and you think might work better about the new model that you were taught inside of the program.
There's just this disconnect. They think just putting the information out there is going to help everybody, right? And because of that, they're going to become a millionaire because of a $10 ebook. But what I like about this model is the idea that I'm not talking to a generic person. I am talking to an individual who has their own struggles, their own context, their own thing. And I'm trying to understand how I can bring value to them, not just in general. And because of that, I don't feel bad or I don't feel anxious or whatever about charging a higher price point, because it's the difference between, hey, I can give you a free tweet and you can have that free tweet's worth of information, or I can give you a personal solution and I can give you a lot of my time and help you in particular with whatever problems that you are tackling. And I think that helping people like that is one, it's more effective, and two, I think it's only reasonable that you are able to charge more for it and you're able to hit your income goals better.
What would you say about the people who are afraid or they don't want to really position themselves as high ticket because they don't think anybody will pay for it, or they are just worried that maybe they themselves don't feel like they're going to be able to provide results on that level?
The blunt answer there is if someone is going to pay you this much, you don't disappoint them, because if someone's paying you a salary, like, you rise to the occasion. If someone's going to make you in charge of, give you a raise and make you in charge of an entire department, you're going to be able to raise to that skill level. The other thing I would say is that it comes down to, do you want to offer one size fits all generic advice that might help a person, or do you actually want to help a person, right? Talking with some of the people that I have, they're coming from different countries, they speak different languages, they have different situations. And if you think that you can just slap a tip and it's going to apply to everyone and all of a sudden it's going to change their life, that's not going to happen. So if you really want to help people, it's only fair that you actually charge more. And if you're worried about, hey, if I can't deliver, you deliver at your job when they pay you a salary.
That answer, yeah, you just charge the money and you just deliver it. I think it, not for me, not to just be someone, because, obviously I sell high ticket stuff. So it could be easy for me to say, oh, just spend a bunch of money because it's going to help you get the result better. But I've actually found that a lot to be true, where you, as the person who's charging the money, you feel that level that you want to perform and live up to those expectations. And then the clients themselves are actually more invested, because it's easy to spend $5 on an ebook and just never look at it again because you spent $5 on it. But when you spent $5,000 on something, like you're going to pay attention to it and you're going to use it. You're going to try to get the most value from it. What would you say to somebody, honest opinion, if they had a skill set to deliver on the back end, but they're worried about working with me because they don't have an offer yet? What would you tell them?
If you don't have an offer, it helps to have someone who knows how to create an offer. Because, like, you could do it yourself, but for me, when we first met, I was like fiddling around with that offer for probably like close to a year, honestly, because it was like this course and I was doing this and that. And it's just a matter of, do you have enough clarity by yourself to understand everything about an offer? And if not, you're going to pay in time. You're going to spend a year trying things out and having it fail and trying to basically trying to second guess yourself and to somehow stumble upon that thing. Or you could follow a structured path. You either pay in time or money.
100%. What would you say was the biggest benefit for you in terms of the kind of experience you had after making the investment and what it was able to help you change in yourself and your business or anything like that? Aside from you obviously ROI'd on the investment and made money that you invested.
Two things. One is I recently had a plumbing emergency, and it was like a pretty hefty bill. It was like close to $5,000. And normally, before the program, I would have been stressed. I would have been worried about my emergency fund and all this sort of stuff, and I would have been running around. And that level of money would have it would have wrecked a couple weeks of my time. So just being able to have that buffer definitely helps. But I think the main thing that has been helpful is the clarity calls where I'm like super hyper focused on one thing in particular. I'm like, oh, and this and this. And then I was basically like, keep it simple. What's this? What's this? Take a step back. And then having someone that kind of pulls me out of my spiral of I need to do this and I need to do that. And yeah, just someone that's basically, hey, just think about this. And if you can answer this, then do this. That has been probably the most helpful thing.
Yeah, even give some insights because we host clarity calls once a week as a group. And I guess maybe give people insight into the level of advice I will give people specific to their situation versus maybe just, oh, it's just like a Q&A where people come to me and I just give them vague advice. Talk about what your experience has been like getting advice from me and what you've seen in terms of what I've helped other people with inside of the program during those calls.
So I think a lot of what the Clarity Call offers is this idea of understanding not only your specific situation because you've seen the offer docs and you know where other students are, but also just having that advice of what to do next. Like for me, I would say that my most successful Clarity Call was I came to you where I was frazzled about this interview and I wasn't sure what I was doing. And then you're like, okay, try this specific thing. I can't remember the exact details, but it was like I tried this specific thing, and then I went into a call immediately afterward and I closed because I just stuck with your advice. But in other times, it's just been like I'm running back and forth. I don't know which of these 3 or 5 things I need to focus in on. And then IO or has basically gone, hey, what is the high ticket offer? What are you offering? And based on what they're offering, what can you do to say this? And then sometimes out of these clarity calls, I will get ideas for workshops. Basically be like, hey, that's a really good idea. Maybe I should host a workshop on objections, for example. So it's just a way to see where you and other students are and to get different insights on different aspects of the problem and hear a lot of different objections that people get, honestly.
100%. What are some of the next things that you're looking to accomplish inside of the program and working together?
So my next goal is consistent 15K a month. And to do that, I am shifting more towards the B2B side and being able to not only basically the other thing I will say is this program helped me conquer a lot of fear because I'm like an introvert and I don't really like reaching out. And then now I have a process to pitch and talk with directors and heads of departments. And there's a chance I might be talking with like startup founders in the future. So yeah, it's just like now that I'm moving towards B2B, it's more like understanding how that differs in terms of a sales call from pitching a regular person. how do you talk to a CEO, or how do you talk to a head of a department?
Yeah, and now we're gonna be working together a little bit more closely on solving those specific problems and moving on to the next level there and securing some more corporate clients and getting into sort of the higher level big boy business stuff, right? So we're both looking forward to that. So what would you say to the person who's on the fence? They do have a skill set that can help people, but they're worried about the rest of it. They don't have clarity, they don't have the offer, they don't have the right system, but they're still worried about pulling the trigger because it might be a lot of money, or they're just scared to take the next step in their business.
So you're afraid because it's fear of the unknown. And one of the best ways to do that is to have a path. If you have a step-by-step process that you follow in the program, and then you just do that every day, you're gonna see results. And a lot of the fear that I've had in the past, it's basically come down to information. I didn't have enough information, so I wasn't sure what to do. I wasn't sure what I needed to do next. And once you have that information, then you're able to act. And it's not as scary as you think it is. Yeah, I would just say if it's a fear of the unknown, if you're unsure about your offer or anything like that, just you got to get more information. You got to have a known path to follow. And this is one of those paths that yields results.
Kai, I appreciate your time. Looking forward to helping you on some of those next steps. And I look forward to coming back for us to do the 20K a month and the 30K a month case study coming real soon.
Yeah, that should be fun. Yeah, I'll see you later then.